Time. Understanding your time and how to utilize your time best is one of the main concerns I see as myself when I was working as an attorney and working with all of you. Doug, it's the number 2 question I get asked. Number 1 is, how do I do a business development plan? Number 2 is, where do I spend my time? I showed you those building blocks up above. Now what should I do? Where should I invest my very scarce resource of my own time? And I would say something like this: 50% on existing clients, 25% on existing referral sources, 15% new clients and contacts, and 5% internal marketing. Internal marketing, speaking at your practice group if you're part of a larger firm, introducing yourself at your practice group meeting or other practice group meetings, making sure your bio is up to date, providing content to the newsletter. All of that stuff really raises your profile internally. And a lot of your business comes from other attorneys in the firm. But this is great to say, okay, let me breathe a sigh of relief. And in fact, I'll implore you, in those first 2 categories, that's going to feed that third category of 15% of new clients. If you stopped right now worrying about new clients and really focused on your existing clients and your existing relationships, from that, new clients will come. And you kind of don't need to worry about going out into the market and finding new clients. It happens in a much more efficient way when you're paying attention to the other 2. I did a poll with some attorneys recently asking them how much time they think they could develop to business development. They could devote to business development. So here are the results of that. And I asked them 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, too busy. The 42% of them said I could do an hour a week. I think this was there were probably 50% of them were associates and the other half were younger partners, a couple of senior partners sprinkled into this group that I polled. And that's awesome. If you said, wow, I'm starting to understand that I control my business and my own financial destiny, and that there are strategies and techniques and this training that can help me do that very efficiently, you know what? I can spend an hour a week doing that. Maybe as an associate, you have a little bit more time to do that. Again, wherever you are, wherever you feel comfortable, assess what time that you can really dedicate to doing this. If it is 1 hour a week, calendar it. The session that we have on 15 minutes a week to getting it all done is really lays into this about setting up meetings with yourself once a week. So if you think you have an hour, you might say Wednesdays at 4 is when I do this. Or Saturday morning before the house gets busy with a cup of coffee, I sit there with my pad or my laptop or whatever works for you. And I do what I know is going to move the needle and move my career forward. As you develop and improve your business development skills, you'll find that you earn more here than in billable work. I'm going to jump forward one and come back one. Yes, okay. So here's a little story that will illustrate this. Sorry, I jumped back. I worked with an attorney who, when we were doing her business development plan, she was a junior partner, so she'd been in practice for about 8 years. I'm already doing, I go to 2 different conferences. I go to the quarterly lunch at the state bar. I go to the Chamber of Commerce mixers. So we were gathering where she's spending all of her time. And it turned out it was over 100 hours a year. And you might say, really, go to a 2-day conference, there's 10 hours right there. Write an article, gosh, I'll spend 6, 8, 10 hours doing that. So having 100 hours a year spent in these areas is not that unusual. What I find though, is it's random, it's ad hoc, it's kind of not coordinated, and many times it's these short bursts of activity that are what I call random acts of marketing. So what I did with her is we really mapped out what her goals were. For her, it was make more money from existing clients and improve my referral networks. So we mapped out her year according to those goals. She followed her activities, she followed her hours, she followed the results. And 50 hours of effort turned into $100,000 worth of revenues. What was really fun to do was the quick calculations here. That's $2,000 an hour she's generating doing business development. So hopefully you understand, and you attorneys that have been doing this for some time, you know what, if I'm really focused with this, if I do this really intentionally and strategically, this is more than just grinding out more billable hours. So this should be exciting to learn kind of early on that your time is well spent and well invested in these areas. How do you get started? What would help you at the very first stage, the very first session that we're doing together? So this written business development plan, again, I polled a group of attorneys that I was working with about, do they have a written business development plan? Excuse me. 8% of them did. 64% didn't. 28% wanted help in actually doing one. We have a session, the business plan for lawyers. Man, it is so great. And at the end of that, you're going to be much more organized. You get the plan in advance. We'll go through a 1-hour session. It's 9 pages. So it's not an entire book. It's not binders and binders. It's really concise and condensed for you. But what the real benefit of that is you'll be in elite status. You'll be in, 92% don't have a written business development plan. You will. And that moves the needle faster than you can imagine. It makes you feel better than you can imagine. And it has results that are quantifiable in terms of clients and revenue. This is that business plan for lawyers session that I'm mentioning, a great one to do for exactly that reason. Creating good habits. Good business development habits are really the cornerstone of you as a busy lawyer trying to do this well. Let's see, the business plan session, there's a whole section on developing good habits. But it's true. We are driven in life subconscious, without knowing it. I think something like 65% of our activities are habits. You might not even know it. Some of them are good. When I leave in the morning, I grab my keys off the counter so I can drive the car. I brush my teeth when I get up. Whatever. Those are habits, and those are good habits. Some of them are bad. I can't get away from social media, and I'm checking my phone every 10 minutes when I'm supposed to be doing my business development. Or I've got that little dinger on my email, and every time it dings, I stop doing what I'm doing and look at what that email is. So creating good habits is really helpful as you're at this point in your business development. Calendaring time each week, removing barriers, making a BD calendar, overcoming procrastination. There's a lot more detail on this in the takeaways that you'll receive after this session. But know that you can be very effective here, and you can have a profound impact on your bottom line by paying attention to this.